We are heading from the desert floor up into the spring mountains. It's been, I want to say a while, but it actually hasn't been that long. In like November, I was out here to do Fletcher Peak, but this is the home of Mount Charleston, which I've also have a video on. It's crazy. You drive all this way up and gain 6,000–7,000 feet elevation. There's nothing, and then all of a sudden you get up high. There's all sorts of infrastructure and campgrounds and ski resorts. All right, well, this is what happens when you go up 7,000 feet in elevation. The pressure changes inside these bags, and you can see it's all puffed up now. This is the Upper Bristlecone Trail from the Lee Canyon area, or sort of a ski area. All right, so we're about a mile up. It is warm, and I'm feeling the altitude being over, I think I'm over 9,000 feet. But you do a little hairpin turn somewhere over there, and maybe it's signed, who knows. I want it to feel a little bit better once I get up higher with the wind. So a little over a mile in, probably just climbed, I don't know, 600 feet maybe, not a ton yet. So I'm pretty sure that sort of flatter rounded one is Charleston, and then that one is Griffith or Griffin. We're just sort of going up and sort of contouring, not really switchbacking, although we are here, just kind of going up. I think we eventually get a view of our summit when we crest some little local high point. Rounding a corner here, still no views. Yeah, well, there's a view of something. Could that be it? Possibly, but probably not. All right, so the trail, we've dropped like 200 or 300 feet, which I knew, and come around on a smooth trail, and now we've hit a signed junction. We want to go left here, and it looks like pretty shortly we're going to switch back up here. All right, so as I pointed out the bottom, I thought it was one of these two pointy ones. Pretty sure it's going to be that one, which looks pretty cool from here. Here's the Lower Sisters. That's like 500 or 600 feet higher, so pretty sure that's it. We just need to get over there somehow. All right, top of the switchbacks here. We've hit a junction. Well, maybe not. We've hit a Mount Charleston Wilderness sign, and I've looked at the map, and there is actually kind of a junction here. We want to continue this way. We're at about 9,800 feet. The summit, I think, is at 10,700, but yeah, unfortunately, we're gonna have a bunch of little ups and downs and then a fairly significant drop before our big push to the summit. All right, we're basically up on this ridge now, and I think I'm being stood to be corrected. It is not that pointy one. It's gonna be that one out there. And I think, I don't know if you wrap around the backside or you go right up this gully that you see here, but you go up some semblance of a gully. This up and down near the ridge isn't too bad. It's pretty joggable, which is nice. Nice smooth trail. All right, so I think we've finally hit kind of the high point of this ridge, and now I just looked at the map. That's definitely your summit up there. We have to drop like 450 feet, so obviously I have to regain that on the way back, so I think the drop is starting now. Getting closer to our low point, and it's looking pretty menacing from here. And I'm thinking we wrap around this rock formation to access our gully. All right, so I've consulted the map. We are gonna wrap around this formation to access the summit. All right, so we are contouring around this lower rock pillar, false summit thing. Maybe up against this rock face as our gully. Honestly, not totally sure. Yeah, we got to get around this thing. This is a false summit. Okay, so we've continued to descend. There's a major drainage over here. You hit this switchback in the little use trail, but I think at this point, I'm not sure if this is meant to be a cairn or not. Kind of looks like it. Based on the map, we got to start to cut up this gully. Get all the way up this thing, and then the summit's even higher once you gain that, you know, ridge up there. So this is incredibly, I'm looking for cairns up high. Okay, so we are down to the gully proper, basically. So we want to, this is going to be hard on the way back. We got to remember these two logs on the left to cut across. And that's definitely not obvious. But there is a cairn here. So I don't know, maybe I try to mark it like turn left. I don't know how to exactly do that. There's a stick in front of it, turn left. So it's starting at least to look like, I mean, there's not much place to go. As long as you go up the gully, you're getting funneled to the same point. So super steep here. All right, so we're climbing. Obviously, we're kind of hugging this rock wall to our left. You can see there's cairns pretty well marked. I don't think it matters too much because either way you get funneled. So even if you were more right, just being on rock is a little easier. So I'm gonna hug the cliffside. Yeah, this is very taxing. As expected, just so loose. Each step is a struggle. Now the question is, do we cut up above this shelf or stay below? All right, we've gotten more on rock. Nice cairn up here. It looks like it's wrapping you up this way, which I like a lot more. Because when we're on rock, it's just so much easier to step and all that, and have handholds. So cairn here, summit somewhere up there, but we're almost up to the sun and maybe slightly exposed here. This is a little loose. As you can see, there's some gravel on here. So we're gonna wanna be careful, especially climbing down this. So when you got all this sand and gravel on stuff, makes it a little more challenging. So I'm hopeful we continue up. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna have to go up here. They're gonna keep going up. Eventually hit a ridge in, I don't know, 400 more feet, and then have a couple more 100 maybe, or 100 more to the summit up there. So we have a cairn. I don't know if this wants us to pop through this notch. I think so. It's getting a little cliffy here, which begs the question, were we in the wrong place to begin with? And should we have been coming up this one? I don't know. This is pretty tough terrain up here, I will say. So this is not for your average hiker, that's for sure. Still climbing. I keep thinking we're gonna get up in the sun and pop out, but then we just keep going and going and going. So climbing still. All right, so after a ton of hard work, we are popping out on the ridge. And I kind of shortcut it because I know I gotta go up now. Oh baby, look at the views down. That was very challenging. That was like going up to Asgard Pass and the enchantments, or going up the west to the west ridge of Little Bear from below, from the lake up the gully. We're just on the ridge and only have like, I don't know, 100 feet to gain, or maybe less, or maybe more. I don't know. It's not a lot though. I'm just gonna stick to the ridge and head straight up. All right, McFarland Peak. Whew. And we got a register box. So Charleston, Griffith, either Mummy or Fletcher, I think. Unsure which. That might have been that Sisters one. That was hard work. That's not going to be fun getting down. Less than 2.5 hours, but not much under. 226. Awesome views though, for sure. Down to Las Vegas. This valley, whatever. I don't know what this is on the other side of the Spring Mountains. Some other valley with a fairly sizable town. So I'm gonna sign the registry, take a couple pictures, and then I gotta get out of here. I gotta make sure I beat daylight down. Make sure you have the map downloaded. It's not obvious when you're on the summit what ridge to go off. You almost start walking off completely the wrong direction. So make sure you're walking off the right direction and you find the proper exit gully, which is definitely this one. I'm sure of that. But again, getting down this is not going to be fun, and we don't need to take any steep shortcuts. On the way up you can sometimes, but on the way down, take the more gradual route. Oh man, it feels actually really cool. Look at this descent ahead of us. We got like 1,400 feet of this slop with wind blowing pretty strongly right in our face. It's kind of cool. So yeah, just going down this mess of loose rock, trying to not hurt ourselves too badly here. Oh, here's the cairn where we pop through this notch. This is good. This is good. We found a cairn. I meant to try to mark this more with something, but I don't see why you couldn't go down there. But we did pop through this notch. So I guess we're gonna take this one down. I mean, that one honestly looks better, but let's follow this. So we're heading down and we have a split in the drainage. So this is kind of where you want to be careful. Wherever there's a split, you want to make sure you're taking the correct fork, or else you could get cliffed out. I'm gonna take the left route, but I think you might be able to take either route. But these are things you want to pay attention to, which clearly I didn't that well, but I just trust my experience with stuff like this. You know, potentially you could take the wrong gully and hit just like a vertical cliff, and then we'll get stuck. So there's a cairn here, so that seems to confirm, although there are cairns kind of everywhere, to be honest. Oh, this is this little cliff. I came up on the left, but I think there were cairns on both sides. So let's just left on the way up, so right on the way down. You can see it's not a big deal because you can sort of slide with it. Like if this were a sand dune, it'd be great because you could just slide with the sand. It gets a little more complicated when there's bigger rocks, but when it's small rocks, small scree and dirt, you can just kind of slide with it. But if you were with anyone else, or there were other parties around, you'd have to really be careful kicking rocks down on other people. Like, look. So let those clear, and then before I start another rock slide, yeah, this gets, I think, a little rockier right here. See, like, I don't want these to come down on me. Trying to be careful here. It's just virtually impossible to not cause a major rock or landslide. So cairn right here, cairn right there. We're just gonna keep heading down, more or less. All right, this descent's going about as well as I could have hoped for. We're able to pick out cairns easier looking down on the use path. A lot of times it's a lot easier to see the path going down and pick out cairns. There's one down there. We don't have a ton more to descend, like a couple 100 feet. We just got to look for that cairn where I added the little twig to tell me to turn left. So we just want to make sure we don't bomb too far down the drainage. All right, and so the slope's starting to open up. We're starting to get in the sun. So these two logs is what I mentally made a note of, where I needed to cut left. Now, where, oh, the cairn's up there. I was like, where's the cairn that I modified? Oh, maybe it's right here. Unsure. There's one there. Yeah, this is the cairn. Remember, I added the little piece on top and the little stick. So we're in the right place. I've confirmed with the map. There's no more cairns that way. And now we take, I don't want to say the sketch trail, but we take this trail across, which gets a little narrow at points on a slope. All right, we're finally off sort of the ridge section, which goes on for a long time. I mean, you're talking like 2 miles, a lot of little ups and downs. And now we're on the, I don't know, 7 switchbacks to take us back down to where that nice almost road was. All right, so here's the big junction flat area. That was only 5 switchbacks, by the way, not 7. Fairly long ones though. Maybe 3/4 of a mile all in for those 5. All right, back down to the sign. And remember, well, let me check it. I believe we gotta go this way. Contour around, gain some elevation, and then eventually do the rest of our descent. Probably, I don't know, 2.5 miles left of the car, maybe. All right, we've hit our next relative high points. I think all the climbing is done now. We just gotta go down this canyon. All right, we've reached our hairpin turn down, which I messed up before and may have just messed it up again. I'm gonna have to check the map, make sure I'm not going on. This looks like a trail, and it looks like this is taking me down. So this should be the ticket. I somehow shortcut on the way up because I lost the trail. And at the very end, we are back in the sun. So that was McFarland Peak, which I don't believe is either of those two, so you can't see it. It's higher and way over there somewhere. Shortcut. I won't take the shortcut. So we're looking at like 13 miles or more, 3,700 foot of vert, and that was 4 hours and 6 minutes, or sorry, 4 hours and 36 minutes. So not really lighting the world on fire for that, but that last mile scramble, or less than a mile scramble up and down that gully, took quite a while.